All right, so we made it. Depending on how you count it, I suppose yesterday is 2 weeks from the surgery, and I made a video for that, and I thought that was going to be the post, 2 week check-in. But to be honest with you, with what I did today on like the 2 day of recovery, because that's how we've been counting this, right? I thought that it was apropos that maybe this is the one. So after these 2 weeks, I've talked to my PT and making the progress that we're making together, despite the fact that I'm like taking it slow as per the recommendations. Um, the wound is looking great. I I I could probably, like, if I was practicing it more, be walking around without any assistance if I wanted to, but I'm not going against Dr. Lundgren, so we don't do that. But like, I find those middle grounds, those little things, like uh, as long as Dr. Lundgren didn't tell me I can't do it, then I'm going to try to do it, and so we kind of go from there. With that being said, today we had a foreman meeting with the company, and so I'm single by myself, me and my dog. Generally speaking, in life, I love it. It's the way I like. My younger brothers and my mom are here helping me out. Not here, but they're around helping me out, and that's cool. And I love their company and all the shit. But I just needed something to chew on, and so going to that foreman meeting. Dr. Lundgren wouldn't have loved it. He definitely wouldn't have loved the fact that I did it with a cane instead of the walker. But I couldn't walk into a walker foreman meeting with a fucking walker. I'm still a man. We are still construction workers. It was enough with the cane as it is. With all that being said, the point of this tap in is the fact that 2 weeks in, I'm feeling this confident despite taking it slow. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations, and throughout today, it was not necessarily the easiest day that I could have possibly had, but I'm like incredibly excited that 2 weeks in, I also feel comfortable with the fact that, yeah, we got this done, we did this. It is strong enough and continuing to get stronger and stronger, even with taking it easy, to, hang out and do some things. And to see the boys. I think that a very important thing is like the mental state that any of us who go through this procedure, especially if you do it twice, a big part of it is like the mental health. And I'm like just in general, I'm a knuckle dragging, pull yourself up by the bootstraps kind of guy. Mental health is not like my biggest thing, but I do acknowledge it, and it's for some shit like this. It is important, and that's why you can't get too much in the weeds of the comments of the people who are complaining. It's just I know I've said it before, but it's like a restaurant. For every bad review that you get, it doesn't compute in the way like compared to the good reviews that you're gonna get. When you have good service and you expect high service, like you get that, and that's great, and you tip and you think that's the end of it. It's the people who are upset that post and that comment and that make things so bad, and it makes it such a toxic rabbit hole for you to go down. But with something like this, being in the right headspace is the most important thing. Nerve blocker wore off on day 2 of recovery, kind of thing, and my mom didn't like try to baby me, or even though like that was her thing, was to keep me in check and keep me from doing too much. She knew we got to get this gym set up so that Ryan can go move some weight. He needs it, and so that's you might have a different version of it, but the point is that there are ways to mentally overcome some of the things that physically you can't. As There's a lot that goes into this, and the struggle is real. It's real. But it's not that bad, man. And especially it's helpful if you prep yourself the right way, you keep the right people around you, and that your focus is getting better. It's not, it doesn't have to be as tough as some people experience it. Like, I can imagine if I had a shitty attitude, that I would have a shitty recovery. But I don't, and so I don't. Shit is no small thing, man, but it's the knee that hasn't been replaced yet is still the bad knee. It's like, I have to, in a sense of babying the new knee, because it needs to be babied. I shouldn't be doing some of the shit that I do according to not the general recovery timelines, but because of what my surgeon said. But I think that it's worth it for me to be doing some of these things because it helps keep me centered. It helps keep me from doing the extra things, and it helps me not feel like a baby back bitch. Like, I'm sure I've said this many a times in this, like, anything worth having is worth working for. And nothing exemplifies that as much as this. If my knee is capable of this much already, imagine what it's going to be capable of going down the road. As long as I treat it right. I spent all day of yesterday practicing the walk, the cane, because it's never even crossed my mind it's supposed to be on the walker. I trust and listen to my surgeon. But at the same time, let me see. And I don't really want to have to drag the walker to the party, foreman meeting, whatever. And shit played out right. Obviously, I'm still injured and all the shit, but I needed it, man. I needed to see the boys. Like I said, I love my mom, I love my brothers, and my brothers are the boys in a way, but it's not in this way. Also grateful for my job that, go into something like this. I didn't get paid for it because I ain't trying to mess up my disability. I just pulled up. How fortunate am I to have found a way and worked my way into a situation that's good, that I love this much. I think to hammer it home, the end of the day, the statement that needs to be made is that when you do this, having the right mindset, the right approach, and the right support system is hugely important. It's hugely important. There's gonna be a lot of people who've never gone through it who are gonna tell you what the fuck to do. And at some point, you have to choose. Listen to your body, work hard, and prepare yourself. I can't wait for the next one. I'm in the midst of the recovery of the first one. I can't wait for the next one. Mostly because, one leg is 2 inches at least longer than the other. But, we'll fix that as we go. The point being is that it's so much better and so much worth it. And, whatever you do, just keep fighting. Don't dwell on the bad shit. Dwell on the good shit. Dwell on the future. You're going to be able to take boxing classes. You're going to be able to ski. You're going to be able to skydive. And isn't that what we're all missing out of our life? For me, one of the things, I can't wait to go to Magic Mountain. Walk around that mofo. I gotta lose a bunch of weight to even be able to get the surgery. Well, guess what comes with that is that weight loss also means I can fit in the roller coasters again. Let's walk that shit. Let's ride that shit. Let's fucking go.